Hello, my beautiful co-creators. Lilou here on a Juicy Living Tour. Today I'm in Los Angeles with a French author, but that you live in LA area.
I've been here for 12 years, yes.
12 years. So we just did a delicious French interview, but I wanted to do a few minutes on this in English as well before taking my flights and heading back to Europe. I'm so excited to meet French people in the US. It feels so good.
Yes, it feels good. I'm so happy to meet you too.
So how do you translate the title of your book in French when English, when it's going to be available here, which is it's not yet, but
yeah, we just had a conversation. So my book is about my journey when I took a 21-day challenge to stop complaining. And the way we say complaining in French is râler, and there is no real translation because I think we have a typical way to do it in France.
We're good at it.
We're very good at it. But there is like râler is a mix of complaining, whining, and bitching.
It's bitching. Yeah.
It's kind of bitching. If we could find a proper word to describe that, I think it's bitching.
So you think bitching? Let's use bitching is a habit.
I think it's a habit. I think it's really something in our brain where when we get faced with a frustration, it could be traffic on the freeway, it could be something in the house, the laundry, chores, it could be work, it could be the IRS on the phone, but it's just every time we're faced with a frustration, we go on an automatic mode and we go into complaining into bitching mode. And what's happening is that when we do that, we put ourselves in the place of the victim and the others are guilty. And we love to find guilty people. I mean, we're always looking to find guilty people for all the problems that we have. And the challenge that I did for myself was to really change this habit. And I mean, people in the US know that very well, is that if you need to change a habit, you need to do an effort for 21 consecutive days. Some people say 28 or 30 days, but it's between 21 and 30 days when you do a consistent effort to do something different, then you change a habit. And when you change a habit, really truly you rewire your brain and you create a new connection. So when I did this challenge, I was really able to create a new nature, a new way of being, where now I'm not resisting what life is giving me. Because let's be clear, life is not always sexy. Yes, we have happy hours on Friday and we can go to Las Vegas or to Palm Springs or go to the beach on the weekend and it can be really fun. But on a day-to-day, we need to wipe the table, do the laundry, go to work, get in traffic, check emails, way too many emails, and sometimes it's not sexy. But it doesn't mean that we have to be a victim of that. It doesn't mean that we have to suffer through that. And I mean, for me, there is no way I'm going to wake up on Monday and wait for Friday to be alive again. So when I decided to do my challenge, it really came from that. It really came from, I don't want to be a victim of my everyday life. Yes, it's not very sexy sometimes, but I want to be fully present because in the middle of that everyday routine, there is some treasures that I'm missing right now. I don't get those treasures because I'm complaining and I'm resisting. And this is all I'm putting, when you complain or when you bitch, you voice your frustrations. I mean, you can have frustration, they're like a little cloud and they pass over your head and they can go, the wind can come and they go. When you bitch, you bring them into your day. You bring them into your relationship with others. You bring them to your relationship with your kids. And at the end of the day, this is what you remember. I don't know if you know, but I mean, if you realize that, but at the end of the day, when you look back at the day, what was your day about? It was about the conversation you had with your partner, the conversation you had with the kids, the conversation you had with the teacher, the conversation you had with the coworkers, the conversation you had with the lady at the store. It's an addition of conversations that you keep having. Can you imagine if you can remove the bitching and the complaining out of all of those conversations and start having different conversation? Can you imagine what are you going to remember at the end of the day? I mean, you're going to go to bed thinking that was a fabulous day. Where if you go along bitching and complaining, you go to bed being like, that was a terrible day. And it's just a matter of changing the conversation that you have. And when you change this conversation, literally, I mean, at the beginning, you still have the negative thoughts in your head and you just prevent yourself from getting them out and anchoring them in your day, because that's what you do when you voice them. You anchor them in your day. So at the beginning, it's really an effort. You're like, okay, I'm not allowed to do this. But little by little, your brain is rewiring and you get to see new possibilities. You get to see new options as far as how do you want to react. And little by little, all those negative thoughts are not here anymore because it's full of positive. Yeah. It's full of opportunities, of options, of resources, of beautiful stuff and treasures, all the treasures of life. So.
Yeah. But some people might think, or we might think, oh my God, what am I going to do with myself? Because all of a sudden it's like, oh.
Yeah, there is a big blank in your life that's happening when you stop complaining. And to be honest, life really doesn't like emptiness. It's like a vacuum. If it's empty, if there is emptiness in your conversation, you will have a tendency to go back to complaining because you have a discomfort with that. So I highly suggest that you replace complaining with celebration. And what I mean by celebration is gratitude in your conversation. So I think in LA, we hear a lot about gratitude and people being very grateful. And I think we all know what gratitude means. But many times gratitude tend to stay in a journal and tend to stay in a prayer. What I invite people to do is to bring the gratitude into conversation. Go say thank you to your friends for exactly what they did for you. Go, in my family, every night at dinner time we celebrate. And we look at the day and we looked at what is it that the day gave us today that was great, that was, something to remember. And so we go around the table, and if we forget, the kids remind us. They're like, Mommy, I have something to celebrate today. And we also talk about what was not so much to celebrate because the kids wants to talk about this, but it's a great way to have a check-in, and to know what happened during the day.
Yeah.
So,
and there's different type of celebration and gratitude. I guess this is really the deep acknowledgement of life. It's not the overexcitement or woohoo craziness, because there is some of that sometimes that is a bit annoying when people keep on thanking or being overdoing it. It feels not sincere in the present moment. There's different degrees of celebration and gratitude, isn't there?
Yes, and when we do the celebration at my house, we don't celebrate at the surface. Like we could say, my daughter could say, oh, I want to celebrate that I had a good time at recess. Okay, so that could be a hoo-hoo, I got a good time at recess. But we go further and we ask, what is it that was good? Mm-hmm. Well, my friend came to see me. I was alone in the corner, and my friend came to ask me if I wanted to play. So now we're celebrating that you have friends that you can count on. Mm-hmm. And it's way deeper. Mm-hmm. It's not just, hoo-hoo, I had a good time at recess. It's like, oh, I have some friends, and they're going to come and get me when I'm sitting in the corner. And that's a much deeper celebration. And that's good for the kids, but also for us to go deeper and ask yourself, why am I celebrating this? Like, what is it to celebrate in that situation? And go a layer deeper. And I think when you get to have this conversation with other people and bring that into the forefront of your life, you literally change your life.
And the life of others around.
And the life of others. Because, in my family, I did the challenge, and my family didn't do the challenge. They did the celebration with me, but they didn't do the 21-day challenge to stop complaining. But the energy in my house is nothing compared to what it was. We had mornings that was a disaster. That's why I started the challenge. The morning routine was a disaster. And now we just wake up and we have breakfast and we go to school. And that's how it is. And we have a good time. And there is no more frustration in the morning. I cannot believe that. I'm so grateful that I found out about this challenge and that I did it and that I followed through and that I went all the way to the end because it really transformed my life.
A very successful book in French, 70,000 copies over in France already, and it's growing and everybody's talking about it and we're loving it. Thank you for having the courage to step in that step in this new paradigm. It's so powerful, as you said. I see it every day when we make that decision for ourselves, how everything then changes around us and the people, and it's like all of a sudden there's this magnificent wave of possibilities that start rolling out of us and things rearrange for the best, huh?
Yes, we could think that, not complaining is a small thing. It's kind of silly and it's kind of big at the same time. It's kind of electrifying at the same time, and it's kind of silly. Okay, I'm going to stop complaining. But the beauty of this is that you start with the end. Like, I'm not going to voice my frustration. And then little by little, everything is aligning behind this intention and behind this thing that you do. So you stop it here. And then the rest of at the beginning, it's still coming, and you need to resist it. And then little by little, everything is tweaking and arranging behind it, and then your life is transformed because everything is aligning to this intention and to this commitment that you've taken with yourself. So
your blog in English, because you do have a blog.
Yeah, I do have a blog in English. It's called istopcomplaining.com, and there is also a Facebook page, I Stop Complaining.
Beautiful. Thank you, Christine. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Big kisses from LA, Los Angeles, California with Christine. Much love. Bye.